If you are trusted with everything but still not being chosen for the next level, this episode is for you because trust and positioning are not the same thing. Today, we are talking about why being deeply relied on can actually keep you in place, how women end up trusted without being envisioned, and what has to shift for leadership to see you as next. If you have ever felt valued but stalled, appreciated but not elevated, this conversation will help you understand why. Let's dive in. Welcome to Career Growth for Working Women. If you're ambitious, capable, and quietly carrying more than your role reflects, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, promotion and compensation coach, and I help women fast track their next promotion by teaching them how to show their value so clearly leadership can't overlook them. Here, we talk about career advancement, visibility, burnout recovery, and building confidence without burning yourself out or shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's get into it. I want to start today by naming something that many high-performing women experience but rarely say out loud. It sounds like this: I'm trusted with everything, but I'm not being chosen. You're the one leadership relies on. You're looped into important work. You're asked to handle complexity. You're given access. And yet, when the conversation turns to advancement, influence, or the next role, your name doesn't seem to land the way you expect it to. This is one of the most confusing places to be in a career because trust feels like it should equal opportunity. It feels like proof. It feels like momentum. But here's the truth most women are never told. Trust and positioning are not the same thing. And being trusted on its own does not move your career forward. In fact, being deeply trusted without being positioned is one of the most common ways women get stuck. Let's talk about what trust actually means inside of organizations. Trust usually means leadership believes you will handle what is given to you. You will follow through, you will manage risk, you will protect outcomes. Trust is about safety, and safety is valuable. Organizations need it. Leaders rely on it. But safety is not what drives promotion decisions. Promotion decisions are not about who feels safest. They are about who feels ready. And readiness is about something very different. Positioning is about how leadership sees you in the future, not how they rely on you in the present. When you are trusted, leadership thinks, she's solid. She won't drop the ball. She'll take care of it. When you are positioned, leadership thinks, she should be in the room where decisions are made. She should be shaping direction. She's operating at the next level already. Those are very different mental categories. And here's where so many high-performing women get misled. They assume that trust will naturally turn into positioning over time. That if they just keep showing up, keep delivering, keep being dependable, leadership will eventually connect the dots. But leadership does not connect dots they do not need to. If you're making their lives easier exactly where you are, there is very little incentive for them to imagine you somewhere else. This is how women end up being trusted with everything and promoted with nothing. And this is not about intention. Most leaders are not consciously holding women back. They are responding to the signals in front of them. And trust sends one kind of signal. Positioning sends another. Trust says, I can handle responsibility. Positioning says, I can set direction. Trust says, you can rely on me. Positioning says, you should elevate me. One does not automatically turn into the other. This is especially hard for women who are naturally conscientious and capable. Women who feel a strong sense of ownership. Women who take pride in doing things well. Women who believe that being dependable is a form of leadership. And it is, just not the kind that gets promoted on its own. What often happens is this. You become the person leadership goes to when something is important. You are looped in early. You are given visibility. You are trusted with nuance and complexity. And because of that, you assume you're being groomed. But what is actually happening is that you're being used as stability. You are the constant, the anchor, the person who makes everything else feel less risky. And stability rarely gets moved. This is why women will say, I feel like I'm too valuable where I am to be promoted. That's not arrogance. That is pattern recognition. When you are trusted without being positioned, your value becomes tied to continuity. Leadership needs you to stay exactly where you are so everything else can move. Stop. Let's go back let's go back here.
Word?
Yes.
It doesn't say that.
Continuity. Okay.
I don't know how you said that.
When you are trusted without being positioned, your value becomes tied to continuity. Leadership needs you to stay exactly where you are so everything else can move. And unless something changes, they will keep choosing you for responsibility instead of elevation. This is also why being trusted can feel emotionally confusing, because trust comes with praise, validation, access. You hear things like, we really count on you. You always come through. I don't know what we would do without you. And those things feel really good and they matter. But over time, if trust is not paired with movement, it starts to feel hollow. Because what you actually want is not more reliance. You want growth. You want authority. You want to be seen as someone who should shape the future, not just protect the present. This is where positioning becomes essential. Positioning is what allows leadership to imagine you beyond your current role. It is what shifts you from being someone they depend on to someone they elevate. And positioning is not about self-promotion. It's not about pushing. It's not about demanding. It's about what part of you is most visible. Most high-performing women are very visible for their reliability. They show up, they deliver, they fix problems, they carry weight. But leadership rarely sees their judgment, their prioritization, their ability to decide what matters. Not because those qualities are missing, but because they are happening internally or quietly. So leadership trusts them, but does not envision them. And this is the distinction that changes everything. You can be trusted and still not be seen as next. You can be relied on and still not be positioned. And once you understand that, the goal shifts. The goal is no longer to earn more trust. You already have that. The goal becomes to change the story your work is telling. That is where the 5% method lives. At the 5% level, career growth is not about accumulating more trust. It's about translating trust into positioning. That means you stop measuring success by how indispensable you are and start measuring it by how clearly your leadership is understood. This requires an internal shift first. You begin asking, where am I reinforcing the safe choice instead of the next level one? Where am I defaulting to execution instead of direction? Where am I carrying things that could be shared or reframed? Because every time you absorb responsibility without context, you strengthen trust but not positioning. Every time you quietly protect outcomes, you increase safety but not visibility at the leadership level. And again, this is not about pulling back dramatically. It's about being intentional. It's about letting leadership see you how you think, not just what you can handle. This can feel uncomfortable because when you shift from being trusted to being positioned, the system reacts. People may ask more questions. They may push back. They may pause. That does not mean you're doing something wrong. It often means you are no longer reinforcing that old role. This is also why women often feel a subtle identity tension at this stage. They worry, if I stop being the one everyone relies on, who am I? What if I lose relevance? What if I'm misunderstood? But relevance that depends on overfunctioning is not sustainable. Positioning creates a different kind of relevance, one that is rooted in judgment, not exhaustion. So, as we close today, I want to leave you with a grounding reflection. If leadership trusts you today, that means you have credibility. That is not something you need to earn again. The question now is whether your credibility is being translated into vision. When your name comes up, do people talk about what you handle, or do they talk about where you could lead? If the answer is the first, you are trusted. If the answer is the second, you are positioned. And if you are not yet positioned, that does not mean you have failed. It means you are ready for a different approach. You are not asking for too much. You are not impatient. You are not ungrateful. You are simply ready for your career to reflect not just how dependable you are, but how capable you are of shaping what comes next. That shift is possible, and it does not require more effort. It requires clarity. It requires intention, and it requires letting yourself be seen beyond the role you have mastered. You are not stuck. You are trusted, and now it is the time to be positioned. I'll see you next time. If today's episode sparked something for you, a question, an idea, or a realization, don't ignore it. I offer promotion strategy calls where we walk through your current role, your goals, and how to position you for your next promotion or raise without burning out or overworking. You can book that call using the link in the description. And if this episode helped you, sharing it or leaving a quick review makes a bigger difference than you know. Until next time, keep showing your value clearly. You've earned it.